Recently, the artist formerly known as NESCartridges made a video discussing the weirdest platfighter character. And my first thought was, well, that isn't the weirdest character. Well, Hugh Neutron is extremely weird. They're really only weird in the context of NASB. Sure, is it weird to have a floaty double jump, a back air, and the ability to ride a banana into the sunset? Yes, but none of that is weird in a whole unique way. Today, I want to discuss mechanically weird characters, the type of characters that create archetypes and truly push convention. Starting with a softball, probably the most popular character that'll be discussed in this video is Eliana. Within platform fighters, there's a pseudo-archetype of characters who have what is referred to as a float. These characters have the unique strength of being able to hover above the ground in some way, shape, or form, either done with down plus jump, or by pressing a button, usually a special or grab in the air. Ellie subverts this expectation by replacing her double jump with the ability to fly upwards, not only changing the input, but also changing the utility. This is interesting because the main limitation of most floats is that they can't really go straight up for an extended period of time. Now, this does come with the downside of not being able to float cancel moves, and it does have a limit. The more she flies, the more heat you build. You can release heat by shooting huge clouds of steam by pressing or holding strong. These clouds have constant active hitboxes that can be pushed around by hitting them with an attack. When Eliana is in heat, she loses access to flight and specials. However, her strongs become these extremely strong explosions. At first, this mode may seem extremely limiting, but with smart routing, you're able to end your combos with these extremely strong finishers. Another important aspect of her gameplay is her special moves. She has what I call a looping kit, where all of her special moves interact with one another in fascinating ways. As an example, her down special is a mine that can be kicked with down tilt, and exploded with side special, which coincidentally is one of her best moves to lead into strongs. This creates an extremely expressive combo game, built upon strong set play ideas and her ability to, well, fly. She sort of lacks that extra step to allow her to really play neutral though. Rotating platforms with Ellie is really weird, so trying to feint an approach is entirely revolved around either smart uses of her tools or doing the funny plat drop waveland spam thingy that I don't know if it has a name, thingy. Now, this wouldn't really matter if her ground speed was solid or if her initial dash was good. Unfortunately, it isn't. All of this is not saying she's not viable. Far from it. Players like Sparks prove that she can do it. It just takes more effort. Within meta specifically, the main thing she's known for is having an actually really solid matchup into Forest Burn. Her missiles are the best tool at dealing with smoke, and since he lacks solid projectiles, he can struggle to get around steam. Her primary struggle is the fact her disadvantage is debatably the worst in the game, only challenged by Edalus, who is a topic for an entirely different video. Now, what do you think would happen if some sick, twisted bastard turn a one-off April Fool's joke into a real character?
Installing cloudbot.exe. I must become the bag. Haha, ha ha ha.
Sandbag in Super Smash Bros. 2 is a joke character based off the sandbag you can hit around in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and its moveset is based around that. For example, her down special will make them go flying left, right, or upwards, giving her fast burst movement, akin to how Sandbag will move while getting smacked around in the waiting rooms of older Smash titles. They also really like using items in their normal kit, like pulling out a bomb during up special that you can actually grab by ledge canceling move, it's really cool, or pulling out one of those weird item capsules. Fun fact, the item is actually why in the Super Smash Bros. 2 rules, you must have all items actually unselected and not just turned off, since she can bypass this, and the item capsule is just an item capsule. Now, this by itself wouldn't really be super weird. If it was just a few items and a movement option, it wouldn't be much to write home about. But Sandbag is fully sold on this idea of not fitting the mold. Her initial dash being a little hop you can cancel by crouching, lacking a ledge grab, it completely breaks the rules of the game she's in. She feels like when you use a Game Shark to play as an NPC, but like, in a good way. Her punish game as well is crispy. Being as movement heavy as she is means she's really good at reaction tech chasing people for God knows how long. And her combo game using down B to essentially chase dodge mid-combo will always feel fucking amazing. However, all of this comes at a major cost. Dash is really cool, but it comes at the cost of not being able to properly play on the back foot. Up special is really awesome and cool until you just explode and die to a 360 crane shot. Down special movement is really cool until you attempt to use it to approach and it gets called out by any move in the game. Not saying that Sandbag is this bottom tier garbage can of a character, far from it, but you will be working a lot harder and sometimes will just need to pray that your opponent fucks up and falls for your turtling in the corner. However, even with these things going against him, I think he's my personal favorite out of these three weirdos. Big fan of the mid-tier who's all or nothing, and their tech skill ceiling rubs my brain in the only way a Scrimblow could.
Fantastic.
Now, what I've explained so far have been really the softballs in the grand landscape of Platfighter characters. Ellie, for example, is iconic to the point where multiverses base the Iron Giant off of her, and everyone and their mother has at least seen Sandbag. Now this is Indie Pogo.
The brand reads Animal Farm. My Fuji on the land, running with a lamb in my arms. Trailer rabbits harboring the farmer's brain to cigars and Cadillac. After that, it's like a ramp to an arc. Playing the garlic salmon, already romancing the fingerlings. When reminded by the ringer's wolf, it only ever ring, ring, ring. Out of radio silence, a bad miracle. Panic in the paradigm, attacking the familiar world. Evacuate, bleeding hard, I had to let the horses out. And we step forward to bow, free to ignore the corral. Free to main a circle per the management's normal amount. It's when the course that'll normalize.
Indie Pogo is an indie crossover platform fighter where the main gimmick is, well, pogoing. In this game, every time you land on the ground, you're forced to jump. You have health instead of percent, and there's a super meter that fills every time you hit the other person or bounce off of their head. These unique systems create an environment where weirdos are the norm, and I could have easily picked any of these guys for this video. But there's one character that really stands out to me as the peak of this weirdo mountain, and that's Bulin. Bulin is a roguelite character based off the roguelike Enter the Gungeon. Hopefully your first thought when I said that is, what the fuck do you mean roguelite character? See, by pressing down special, he will do a dive. After doing this dive, it'll spawn a chest of random rarity. And by using AK-47, you're able to open this chest and get a new gun. This gun is random. It can range from the Phoenix, which is the worst zoning tool I've ever seen in my entire life, the Brick Breaker, which spawns literal turtle shells that bounce off of terrain. You also have the best designed sniper in any video game ever, and every game should have reverse damage fall off, and the RC rocket, which is a projectile you have to control with the mouse. You aim these weapons with either the C-stick or the mouse, depending on your controller, and fire these weapons with the fire button, which he's the only character in the entire game that uses this button, if you're at all curious. Editor's note, if you aim by pressing fire and then a direction on the C-stick, and you fire with the A button, I'm 100 hours into this project and did not know that. I thought it was the other way around. My bad. While this strategic RNG incentivizes constant adaptation and this extremely cool multi-layered zone and counter-zoning game, he suffers from being over-designed. You see, he also has a reload mechanic that affects his DPS. He also has extremely good movement given to him by side special and up special. And did I mention he's also a swordie? This makes him feel extremely clunky until you get fully used to how he controls, and makes his skill floor weirdly high in a way that feels very unintended. They tried to avoid this issue by giving him one of the better generalist weapons in the shotgun as a default weapon, and while this does help with one aspect of his kit, in practice you can completely ignore the parts of his kits that are super unique and interesting and just zone with his shotgun and keep them out with his sword. For some good news, he is bar none the most viable character in this entire video, being top 2 next to his weirdo brother in Zorby from hit game Zorby, which was neat. If you're at all interested in trying him out competitively, or at all, I recommend going to the Lowe's Brothers Discord. Hopefully if this video does well, it'll breathe some new life into this very underrated game. It's very good. Hey, whoa, don't leave for a second. This video took a long time to research, script, write, edit, etc. So if you want to support me, please share this video. I'm not Walt or Awesome Sauce yet, so doing that would help me immensely. Also, if you want to throw some money in my way, my Cash App's on screen now. As a reward, in the next video, I'll read your name off like a schmuck. As an example, I'd like to help these people who make this video possible. Maxime, Boatman, Typo, Volley, Bowler, Monty, Willow, Sparks21, Meep Biscuit, End of Dramamine, Eyesore, Warguts Esports, and you, the viewer at home.